Hey photographer, Jessica Whitaker here, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I create my YouTube videos. Hopefully by the end of this vlog style video, you'll have the confidence to go from setting up your lighting all the way to distribution of the video to help you out and to help you grow your business. Before we get into the video, I do want to thank our sponsor Trademore, which is a sustainable way to cycle out your electronics. Here's the thing, without Trademore, this video wouldn't be happening. So listen up. Trademore is a sustainable way to cycle out your electronics, specifically your phones and your tablet. The video we're creating today is actually a review for the Sigma 24mm art lens, which I purchased used. And you might know that I'm all about buying used gear. It's way better on your wallet and it's so much better on the environment. So when I originally worked with Trademore back in December, I was really excited, and here I am again with the opportunity to work with a company that's all about sustainability in the tech space, because there's not enough of it. That's why I'm always preaching to you, buy used lenses. There's no reason to pay extra money for something that you can get for virtually like new at such a lower cost. So anyways, if you have an old phone or tablet collecting dust in your closet, could even be like an iPhone from several years ago, you get a little bit of extra cash for it. So what I want you to do is pop on down the description box below and check out their How Much Is My Phone Worth page. It takes like 30 seconds to pop in the information, so the model of phone, how many gigabytes you have, even the carrier, and then they will come up with a quote for you. And if you decide to take the cash to move forward with the quote, they'll send you a prepaid box, label, shipping, everything is done. It's free and easy for you to send it off and to get your cash. I'm really stoked that Trademore is working with me on this video, because without them, it wouldn't be happening. Be sure to check out the Trademore link down below. Check out the How Much Is My Phone Worth page, or just browse their current inventory of used electronics. Let's get into it. The camera that I use to film on is my Canon 5D Mark IV. That's definitely super extra, and you do not need to have that. I just have it because this is the camera that I use for my photography and it's the best quality. But you could also use your iPhone. You could use something like this, a little camera like Canon M50, but you could even just use your phone, honestly. The key is good light. My lighting setup is pretty extra. I'm not going to lie, it didn't always used to be like this. It used to be, well, actually since the start of my YouTube channel, like a long time ago, maybe 2014, I've had this Diva ring light. I think it's fantastic. It's like one of the best investments I made, and it's flanked by two LED edge lights. These are very expensive and you do not need these at all. I mean, they're great for studio photography, but they're super unnecessary. So you could use a softbox. That's what I had before I got these. And the only reason I have these is because I work with Savage on videos and they gifted them to me. I would not have purchased them otherwise. So they're fantastic though, but they're expensive. So you could do two soft boxes. Amazon has a lot of affordable lighting options, and by affordable, I mean about $100 or less. I know it's still $100, but gear is expensive. So if you're not interested in buying lights, you don't have to, honestly. You can work with a window and maybe putting some kind of white board or towel down under or on the sides to bounce and to reflect light in would work perfect. But if you are maybe working or going to school during the day and your only time to film is at night, I would say just buy a ring light. You can get one on Amazon for maybe $40. Some are even cheaper. If you're using a phone, you can get a smaller light, like even a Lumi case for your phone. Having good light is very important, as well as audio. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to audio. I only recently purchased this mic, and I'm gonna share with you the mic that I use during the filming process. But I find as long as you have one or the other, audio or good light, people are gonna listen, especially if you're making informative videos. You know, if you're just making a vlog style that's kind of bad quality and not edited very nicely, even simply, you might not have people really watching for that long. That attention might not be there. But if you're making informative content, like a photography tutorial or review, people are gonna watch as long as your content is good and light or audio is good. First thing and most important is a Bumblebee. This is my dog, Bumblebee. For those who don't know, here's a formal introduction. He loves to sleep next to me, but I want him to be out of the way from the lights because I don't know, they're fully set up, they're proper. I mean, he was under them a little bit earlier, but I like him to be fully out of the way just in case. So somebody did ask in a video just to talk more about like the overall styling, which I thought was interesting because I do put a lot of time into how I'm going to style myself to coordinate with the background. And I think that just the biggest key is just to pick a color scheme or like palette and just kind of stick with it. So my background, I would honestly say on camera it's very like jewel toned. Even though it's like pinks and yellows, it's very particular. Even the couch is a bit more jewel toned. So I kind of try to stick to those kind of jewel tones or something with a lot of contrast, so like black with the white polka dots, things like that. You'll kind of see throughout a lot of my videos that I stick with a similar color palette, and I think that's important in your overall branding, and your branding should be tied into any kind of video content that you do, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, because that is what's going to separate you from somebody else. And when you show up to the, I hate that word, it's so cheesy, like I hate it. And when you come to the camera and you have, you know, your look is elevated, you know, take your musty bun down or pull it back into more of a sleek bun, those little details do make a big change, especially if you are wanting to do photography videos and be an authority, because especially us women, young women too, we already have so much, you know, against us, playing against us in the photography industry that is so male dominated. So if you can, you know, elevate your look, appear still fun, professional doesn't mean boring, you want those things to be playing for you. My settings are, I believe my frames per second are 60. Yeah, so I do change the white balance to be daylight. You'll have to change depending on your setting, obviously. And what I recently learned was I use the Camera Connect app to act as a monitor. Since the 5D Mark IV screen doesn't pop out, this way it will take a lot less time and back and forth running to the camera to kind of adjust the framing a bit. Here's the setup. We got the app. Okay, so I have this set up. I actually really like how this is looking. I need to adjust my curtain a bit more, but the next thing that we're gonna do is what microphones that I use. Let's talk about audio. I got a Rode Go microphone, which is a wireless mic. You don't have to sync up the audio later. I'm not technical when it comes to really like creating videos. That's why this is so simple, but it works. It gets the job done, and this is good quality. So I plug this part into my camera. I pop this onto my collar. So the clothes that I do wear, I have to be kind of conscious of. I really like, actually this top is perfect because you don't even see the mic. It isn't the best, like the sleekest design, and this sometimes, depending on the material of your shirt or the way it's cut, will like flop open, but the quality is good. It does what it needs to do. So we're gonna plug that in and finish the review video filming portion. Now we're going to do a thumbnail while we have it all set up. And the thumbnail is kind of the most cringe part to film, in my opinion. I hate it. So I'm not gonna be doing like a behind the scenes on that because it's just like, I don't know, it's just cringe because you're like, I don't know, it's just gross. We're gonna do thumbnail, we're gonna do IGTV preview. So what IGTV preview is, it's basically about, it has to be over a minute of a video where I'm filming specifically for IGTV to invite people to go in to watch the review video. I have my mic back in, so hopefully the audio is significantly better. I just have one mic. This is how we roll. I just filmed my IGTV video. I did it twice. The first time, I never go with like a script for IGTV unless it's my podcast. If it's a podcast, then I just take from the copy that I wrote for the podcast preview or the podcast blog post. But in terms of Instagram TV, I'm pretty good at winging it. However, I've been doing this for a very long time. So if you need to feel a little bit more sorted out, organized, definitely write a mini script. You just want to make sure it's over a minute long, minute 10 seconds. So we did that, took the thumbnail, which didn't include because it's just cringe and uncomfortable to like film thumbnails, but I just have it rolling as a video file, and then later I'll just do a screen cap or even a screenshot in Final Cut. I don't do like a raw image file or anything like that. With a self-timer, I just find it doesn't really matter for YouTube. It compresses it so much anyway. Now we are going to import the footage, and I will see you when we are in the editing process. Bumblebee and I moved the room to a different working setup. I love to work near the window. How do you feel, Bumblebee? I just love him with all of my heart. Like, he's the most perfect dog on earth. So what I do for editing is just really simple using Final Cut Pro. Editing is what I would say struggle the most with, but I wouldn't even consider it like a struggle. I just do what works for me, and what works for me is keeping it simple. I'm gonna try to edit everything tonight. I think I need another 2.5 hours, and then I'll be able to export it. It took me about an hour to import into my computer and then into Final Cut Pro, which is the editing software that I use. And all I do, it's so simple. I'm just going through and editing as I go. Sometimes I'll do one of two things. I'll either edit as I go or I'll rough cut and then go back. But in this case, there's not a lot of moving parts. I think it's going to be the most time efficient for me to edit as I go, add text as I go, music transitions, sponsored mentions, things like that. I am then going to export it, upload to YouTube on Unlisted, send the Unlisted link over for approval for the sponsor that is working with me on that video. We're gonna edit. Bumblebee's my producer and creative director, and then I'll probably see you tomorrow when we do the distribution, because I'm not in a big rush to do that element. Sometimes I'll do it all in one day, but tomorrow will be okay. So I'll see you then. I just finished editing the video, and the reason I'm doing a video of the screen and not a screen recording is because my computer can barely handle anything. Like, it will crash if I do a screen recording. So I just wanted to share with you a few super simple things that I do for my videos to kind of keep them within the brand without having to do a ton of editing. So I just pick a bold font. I love a more retro font that is within my branding colors. This marigold yellow is a really common color that I love to use. I'll use little markings. I believe the shortcut for this is M, and that's where I'll indicate where I'm going to lay something over, whether it's, let's see what this is, whether it's an overlay of another video that I mentioned. I find that this really helps. I have my pink branding color behind it, this subscribe button, and Canva, which is where I also make the thumbnails. This is how I kind of organize out my videos for what keywords, descriptions, iCards. I write out my keywords and then the links that I need to have in the description. And then our Wi-Fi was out all afternoon, so I wrote like the overlay videos that you saw here and what timestamp to do for that. I just exported these in the lowest high quality setting. So I believe this was about 1 GB or so, but it was like the bare minimum for, because with YouTube, the thing is you don't have to have like a super high quality file. So it's just under master file. I just keep it like this. It's about 1.35 gigabytes, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. The first thing that I'll do for distribution is I will create a blog post where I have a description of the video, what we're learning, any appropriate affiliate links, as well as taking the keywords that I wrote for the YouTube video and putting that into paragraph format, almost naturally incorporating it into a blog post so then it can be more searchable. I use Squarespace, so I will be able to easily create a web description. I can create a thumbnail that would be a social share thumbnail. I can do a lot, and of course I'll also link the video. From there I'll use, and I'll put a graphic in that will then be pinned on Pinterest, and Pinterest is a great way to drive traffic to your blog, but also YouTube. I'll then post about it on Instagram stories. I use the app Unfold, and I'll be able to create a story just for the promotion of that piece of content for that video, and then I can always revisit that story and repost throughout the month, the week. I'm definitely all about reposting as much as you can and cycling out the content, but beyond Instagram and just creating an Instagram post and an Instagram TV video, which I talked about, we could discuss here, I guess. I'll make about a 1 minute, it has to be over a minute, it could even be 61-second video to promote my YouTube video. And this is something that I would definitely recommend to anyone to do, especially if you don't have a swipe up feature, because you can put a link in the description of the IGTV and then anybody can click on that link regardless if you have 10K with a swipe up or not. And with that video, you can also upload it directly to Facebook, and with Facebook you can then track the people who are watching the video for pixels. So if you're going to do targeted ads later, you're going to want to distribute this content across all of your platforms, but in an appropriate manner to the platform. So if you're posting on Twitter, you probably just want to post the YouTube thumbnail because it's horizontal. If you're posting to Facebook, you're going to want to make sure that the graphic that you use or the video is appropriate for a Facebook platform. If you're going to post to Instagram, you want it to be vertical versus horizontal. But the point is, you're always going to want to be distributing it. So the best way for me that I'll do it is I'll create a Google Doc or a note where I say Facebook copy. I'll have a blurb about why people should watch, what they're going to learn, emojis, things like that, appropriately formatted for Facebook. And then I'll do the same for Instagram, Twitter. And then I'm able to, down the line, if I want to recycle the content, pull from that copy and just keep repurposing it. But the point is, you want to push it out onto all of your platforms. And it's not so much about getting as many views possible, because in my opinion, it's not about the views. It's about it's about attracting your ideal client through whatever you are teaching, whether you're wanting to bring in more photography clients or you're wanting to become more of a photography educator. Then you're able to bring in people who are in that niche, even if it's not 10,000 people who are watching. If it's 2,000, that's still I would rather have 2,000 very targeted viewers who then could become members of my Facebook group or students of my online workshop versus 10,000 people who are just going to watch but not take action beyond that. So distribution is very, very important. And I would say the top things that you should focus on for distribution would be, number one, a blog post format. Number two, a IGTV video. I even have a podcast episode with a woman named Val. Search Build and Bloom podcast to listen, and we talk about the importance of Instagram TV in your business. Competition is not doing it, so this is something you can really take advantage of, again, especially with that swipe up. If you don't have the swipe up link, you can utilize that feature to have the link clickable in IGTV. And then I would say the third one I would recommend is Pinterest, so pinning from your blog. Instagram, of course, push it out, but you're gonna have to push it out more frequently. With Pinterest, it's great because you can maybe do 2 or 3 pins and, keyword them properly, title them, and then can float around forever and bring traffic to your blog post and then to your video. So that is all that I have to share about creating YouTube videos. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you learned something. This was definitely a more casual video, but I hope that this kind of unveiled the process of creating simple but informative and having a return on investment on your time that you're putting into creating free content. And with the distribution end, you can have that go into a lot of different areas of your business, not just YouTube videos, but even a PDF or a freebie or an email challenge. It can really go into so many different areas. So don't forget to check out Trademore, linked down below, to find out how much your phone is worth or just to browse the used electronics that they have for sale. Thank you so much again to Trademore for sponsoring this video and for making this video happen. If you want to continue to support me and my photography channel, please go check out Trademore down below. You can also hit subscribe to be notified when a new tutorial for your photography business comes out. I have my Build and Bloom photography podcast. I have my online photography business workshop where I teach how to start and scale your dream photography business in your own backyard, whether you're doing this full-time or part-time. I believe in you and your business, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.